Brandon Teena was a 21-year-old American transgender man who was brutally raped and murdered in late 1993 in southeastern Nebraska. His death, along with the subsequent systemic failure of law enforcement, became a landmark catalyst for the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement and inspired the Oscar-winning film Boys Don't Cry. You're listening to Lurking in the Shadows. Welcome, Shadows.
Welcome, everybody. I have not seen that movie, so...
I have not either, actually.
Okay, well, we'll put it on the list.
Yeah, we'll add to our list.
Yeah. Welcome to our Pride Month.
Yeah, happy Pride Month.
Yeah, happy Pride Month, everybody.
We did have a sign, but it was backwards on camera.
I couldn't figure it out.
We couldn't figure out how to fix it.
You know, that's probably our bad, but, you know.
Actually, it's the system of recording on's bad, because there's not an option to mirror it.
No. The effects are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Do better.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure out our software. It's...
we'll get it right one day.
Yeah.
We'll settle on something
one day. We'll come across the right one that has all the things we need.
Yep. For a decent price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I have an LGBTQ case, and then next week we will have another one. Mm-hmm. Amber will have one for you.
Yes, I do the next one.
Yeah. And then we'll get back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
Or maybe there'll be another one. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
We'll cover whoever we want to cover.
It's Pride. It's Pride for the whole month.
It is.
Yeah. So it's that month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Pride Month.
All right. So born on December 12th, 1972 in Lincoln, Nebraska, Brandon Teena, born Teena Renee Brandon, was assigned female at birth. His father died in a car accident 8 months before his birth, so he was raised primarily by a single mother named Joanne, who mostly lived off of disability payments.
Oh, sad.
It is. Brandon faced a turbulent, unstable upbringing that included frequent relocations. Brandon and his older sister Tammy lived with their maternal grandmother in Lincoln before they were reclaimed by their mother when he was 3 years old, and then Tammy was 6 when they went to live with their mom again. I don't know how young they were when they went to live with the grandma, if it was like right after Brandon was born. It didn't really specify. They lived in the Pine Acre Mobile Home Park in northeast Lincoln. Joanne still received disability checks, but then worked as a clerk in a women's retail store in Lincoln at this time. Trigger warning here. Brandon and Tammy were sadly subjected to sexual abuse by their uncle for several years.
Gross.
Yeah. Joanne remarried in 1975, but divorced in 1980. Brandon's family described him as being a tomboy since early childhood. Brandon rejected traditional female gender roles at an early age by dressing and acting more like a male, and began dating women beginning in adolescence when he started identifying as a male. Many women were not aware of his biological sex due to his use of male aliases and his masculine physical appearance. I wouldn't really say he looked masculine. I mean, he could definitely pass as a boy, but he had very soft features.
Okay, yeah.
Like no facial hair or anything like that.
Okay.
On the Brandon Teena story on Amazon Prime, which I watched when I was researching this case, his ex-girlfriends were interviewed and described him as knowing how to treat a woman. He was courtly and sent flowers, and they said he was an excellent kisser.
Oh, what a nice compliment.
Yeah. His mother, though, rejected his male identity and continued referring to him as her daughter. Brandon did claim to be intersex on several occasions. He still kind of didn't really know how to identify himself.
Okay, yeah.
Brandon and his sister attended St. Mary's Elementary School and Pius X High School in Lincoln, where some remembered him as being socially awkward. During his second year, he rejected Christianity after he complained to a priest at Pius X about Christian views on abstinence and homosexuality. He also began rebelling at school by violating the school dress code policy by dressing more masculine. During the first semester of his senior year, a U.S. Army recruiter revisited the high school, encouraging students to enlist. Brandon was interested and enlisted in the United States Army shortly after his 18th birthday, and he hoped to serve on a tour of duty in Operation Desert Shield. However, he failed the written entrance exam by listing his sex as male. So they wouldn't take him. Brandon began his first serious relationship in 1991 with a girl named Heather. He began working as a gas station attendant to save up to purchase a trailer home for him and his girlfriend. However, his mother disapproved of the relationship and convinced his sister Tammy to follow him to determine whether his relationship with Heather was platonic or sexual.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Follow?
Yeah. Like getting her daughter involved.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's definition of, like, can't mind your own business.
Yeah, and definitely not accepting of her child.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was blatantly obvious when the pronouns were not correct. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Brandon underwent a psychiatric evaluation in January of 1992, which determined that he had a severe, quote, sexual identity crisis. He was later taken to the Lancaster County Crisis Center to ensure that he was not suicidal. He was released from the center 3 days later and began attending therapy sessions, sometimes accompanied by his mother and sister.
Wow. That should not be.
No, because he's not going to be fully truthful.
No. Why is that even being allowed?
Is that even allowed? Like, I don't know if they went into the room with him, but it just said they accompanied him sometimes. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was reluctant to discuss his sexuality during these sessions, but revealed that he had been raped in childhood, but these sessions ended after just 2 weeks. So he didn't really get that much help.
No, because mom probably didn't like whatever he was saying.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was like, oh, no, we can't have this. Yeah, can't have this.
I'm pulling the plug on this.
Mm-hmm.
David Bolkovac, director of the Gay and Lesbian Resource Center at the University of Nebraska, who treated and counseled Brandon for his gender identity crisis, said, quote, Brandon believed she was a man trapped in a woman's body. Brandon did not identify herself as a lesbian, but she believed she was a man, end quote. Brandon dressed as a man and adopted practices to, quote, coax her body into virtual maleness, end quote. He would strap ace bandages around his chest and stuff a sock into his jeans. Brandon also viewed women from a man's angle. Brandon's mother once asked him if he was a lesbian, and his reply was, quote, that's disgusting. I can't be with a woman that way. I love them the way a man does. It's like I'm really a man trapped inside this body, end quote.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad, though, that, he doesn't really feel like he can express himself the way he needs to.
Yeah, and definitely still figuring out, and it definitely the times probably has a lot to do with
it's the 90s.
Well. Yeah,
like there's when most of this case takes place.
No guidance, no social media, no seeing influences of other people, no seeing how...
And not much acceptance either.
No, none.
Which will come up later in this case.
Yeah.
Brandon became unusually outgoing in his senior year and was remembered by classmates as a class clown. He began skipping school and receiving failing grades and was expelled from Pius X High School in June of 1991, just 3 days before graduation. Like, really? You're going to expel someone 3 days before graduation?
Wow.
That's crazy. Brandon was left to support himself with menial jobs and petty crime in his late teens. Brandon moved to Falls City, Nebraska in November 1993 to start over, following several convictions for check fraud that resulted in probation. So nothing crazy, just small things. Unfortunately, Nebraska was, and probably still is, a very conservative state, and Falls City was a predominantly white community as well. And it's in the 90s, so not a suitable place for an LGBTQ person to be living at this time. I don't know if Nebraska's still like that. I would think maybe, probably.
Well, if you tune in next week to my episode, I go over some of the hate crimes and what states have and what covers sexual orientation and gender identity and what does not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So tune in next week.
Yeah, tune in next week.
Deputy Sheriff John Larson described Falls City as a place of, quote, high degree of intolerance for difference, end quote. Which implied that anyone who was like gender nonconforming, cross-dressing, homophobic, bisexual, or strictly a male, or not strictly a male or female, would be a malicious target.
Yeah, that's gross. That's a gross viewpoint. It's a gross way to think of things.
Yeah, and it's like an entire like town that like thinks that way.
Thinks that way. Yeah, it's gross.
Brandon presented as male since it was a new town and he didn't know anyone, but that secret would sadly not stay a secret for long. Brandon became friends with several residents and moved in with a 24-year-old woman named Lisa Lambert. Brandon began dating Lambert's friend, 19-year-old Lana Tisdale, in early December of 1993, and also began hanging out with two men Lana knew named John L. Lauder and Marvin Thomas Nissen, who goes by Tom. Both men were ex-convicts. Lana's mom described Brandon as very polite. He never talked bad about anyone, was very considerate towards Lana, and she liked him as someone to date her son or her daughter. Tom said when he would hang out with Brandon, they would talk about women and point some out when they were driving and say, "What about that one? What about that one?" You know, just like what they thought about him.
Typical.
And he said they just had typical guy talk.
Yeah, the guy talk. Yeah.
So they didn't suspect anything.
Yeah.
Brandon was arrested and held on forgery charges on December 15th, 1993 in Falls City. Lana had asked her dad for a check to get a perm, but instead she used that check to bail Brandon out of jail on December 22nd, 1993.
Sneaky.
Yeah, I think it was like $250.
For a perm?
Well, to bail him out.
I know, but...
He gave her a blank check.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's a hell of a perm. Back then.
Well, she would also have no proof her hair was straight.
Yeah, her hair's
so,
Jesus.
Yeah. He was kept on the women's side of the prison because it was based on biological sex. It was unclear in my research if Lana questioned Brandon when she picked him up at that time, but authorities published legal notices in the local newspaper, including Brandon's arrest, under his birth name, Teena Brandon. So this publicly revealed to the community that Brandon was a female.
Yeah. Jesus.
So for anyone that read the newspaper.
Literally, it was just like a poster. Because everybody's... For anybody's reading the newspapers in the 90s.
Everyone read the newspaper back then, yeah. So, yeah. Lana then questioned Brandon about his gender, but he told her he was a hermaphrodite and was actively undergoing a series of medical procedures and hormone therapy ahead of a sex change operation.
Oh, it's sad. To make up lies like that.
I know. And to have to keep track of all the lies you've told to everybody.
Yeah. In a small town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lana initially accepted this explanation and they continued on. Lana said her mom, though, was disgusted, told her to stay away from Brandon, and said, quote, "Those kinds of people have AIDS."
Wow. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the documentary Lana Talks, that I watched on Prime, and she said, she told her mom, no, that's not true. He doesn't have AIDS.
Yeah.
The news that Brandon was not truly a male came as a shock to everyone that knew him in Falls City, and two people felt particularly angry about the news, and that was John and Tom. On December 24th, 1993, Brandon and Lana attended a Christmas party at Tom Nissen's house. While there, Tom grabbed Brandon's arms and held them up, while John forcibly pulled down his pants to prove to Lana and themselves that Brandon had female genitals.
Oh my God, this is disgusting.
So they held him up like this.
And
then the other one pulled his pants down.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
At a party. Apparently, Lana only looked when she was forced to look, and I guess she also didn't say anything while this was happening. Soon after, Lana was apparently called home by her mother, so she left Brandon at the party but said she would return. After she left, though, Tom and John told Brandon they wanted to talk to him, so they went in the bathroom where Tom hit Brandon and he fell back into the tub, and then Tom hit him again. Tom then kicked Brandon in the ribs and stepped on his neck. Then they picked him up and carried him out to a car. Trigger warning again here. The men drove him to a secluded area by a meatpacking plant in Richardson County where they repeatedly raped Brandon.
Oh my God. Wow. I'm really angry.
As you should be. And everyone listening to this should be.
This is disgusting.
All because they were mad that he told them he was a male when he wasn't.
Because it's just their business, huh?
Yeah. It didn't affect them. It's not like Brandon was trying to sleep with them or something.
Hit on them.
He was dating a woman.
Wearing not even promiscuous, that's what I'm saying, but wearing things or even pushing their views onto anybody else.
Yep.
They're just living their life.
Yeah, they literally hung out with him, no problem. And now it's a problem. They then returned to Nissen's home, where Brandon was ordered to take a shower. He escaped from Nissen's bathroom by climbing out the window and went back to Lana's house. So he did, survive that ordeal. He showed up with a beaten face, and she asked him what happened. Lana convinced him to file a police report, but John and Tom had warned Brandon they would kill him if he did. So even though, so Lana seems to be like fairly accepting of this. Like, you know, she continued talking to him and everything.
Yeah, this was news to her.
Yeah.
And
but she like didn't really treat him any differently after finding out.
Okay.
From what I could find in my research.
Yeah.
Brandon also went to the emergency room in the early morning hours of December 25th, where a standard rape kit was assembled, but later lost.
I'm gonna rage.
Yep, someone lost it.
I'm gonna rage.
I don't know if it was the hospital that lost it or the police, but someone lost it.
Wow.
Sheriff Charles B. Laux questioned Brandon about the rape the same day. Reportedly, he seemed more interested in Brandon's transgender status as opposed to the crime that happened.
Yeah.
To the point that Brandon was like kind of getting annoyed by the questions and found some of them to be rude and unnecessary, and he didn't want to answer all of them.
Yeah.
And I'll link the documentary that I watched on Prime in the show notes, but there's audio recording of the questioning, and this sheriff's a piece of shit.
Ugh. God.
Disgusting piece of shit.
Ew.
So I'm gonna go over some of the questions.
Yeah, so let's go. All right. Wow.
One of the question was, so after he pulled down your pants and seen you were a girl, what did he do? Did he fondle you any?
Ugh.
Brandon said no. Then Locke said, he didn't fondle you any, huh? Didn't that kind of amaze you after he had pulled down your pants and had wanted to take you to bed and you said no, that you were a boy and you couldn't do that? Doesn't that kind of get your attention somehow that he would put his hands in your pants and play with you a little bit?
This is disgusting.
This is a police officer.
This is disgusting.
This is a sheriff.
This is... Oh my God.
Yeah, when I was watching this, I was speechless. I was like, you know, mouth drop open.
Yeah, mine just did.
Yeah. Like, what?
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to say if I was in that position.
Yeah.
Like,
how is any of that helping?
Yeah.
Answer any questions.
It's not.
That have to do with the circumstances.
It's not.
To get to
he
the
just wanted some
here.
gross details.
Yes, he's his
to feed his own
disgusting. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon responded with, I don't know what he did. And Laux responded, I can't believe that he pulled your pants down and you are a female, that he didn't stick his hand in you or his finger in you, end quote.
I'm going to die.
Brandon said, well, he didn't. So Laux said, can't believe he didn't. Like, so is he saying that men just have some incontrollable impulse that they need to touch or finger any woman they come across? Like, is that what he's, like, saying? Because why are you saying you can't believe this man didn't put his hands down his pants?
I think you're right. He's just fishing for a story. Like, he's fishing for details, right. Like, trying his rocks off on it or something.
But, like, why are you asking these questions?
I don't know. That is not professional. That is not... None of that's right.
Like, that's you can't believe that he didn't stick his hands down his pants. Like, why do you just assume that would happen?
Also, sir, then you're saying that's exactly what you would do,
right,
officer?
Yeah. So if you came across some woman whose pants were down, you just have to finger her because that's what men do.
Stop. That's
like, is that what he's saying? That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like he's saying. Yes.
That's literally insane.
Yeah. And that's on camera, man.
It's recorded.
Yeah.
This is a recorded interview.
Recording. Yeah. Wow.
Tom assaulted Brandon first, then got in the passenger seat. Then John attempted to assault Brandon. Tom and John are interviewed in the documentary, and they're ugly AF. And John talks about how he couldn't get it up, but when he could, he proceeded to, quote, try to have sex with her, but it wouldn't go down. So I said, fuck it, and got up. Then he chuckled in this documentary.
These people.
Sir, you weren't having sex. You were raping her.
You?
Him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My gasters are flabbered.
Yeah.
I don't know. They interviewed, and these are the things they're saying.
Yeah. Interviewed them in prison.
Wow. This is disgusting.
Yeah. He tried to have sex with her. That's not
No,
sex.
it's not.
That is not
Not
sex.
what you're.
That was
You're
not
doing.
what you were doing.
And you're laughing about it.
But he chuckled at the end of that sentence.
Yeah.
About how he couldn't get it up.
That's how much he thinks.
And that was what stopped him.
This is an item to him. This is not a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is disgusting.
Yep. Laux continues to ask Brandon gross questions about the incident, like, quote, after he got his pants down. This is gross, so I'm just. Okay. After he got his pants down, he got a spread of you, or had you spread out, and he got a spread of then what happened?
These people are uneducated too, aren't they? They have to
Yeah,
be.
he's like also like at one point, like his grammar isn't great. Like he doesn't sound very well educated. This sheriff, the way he talks too in the documentary. Like I purposely fixed the sentences to make him grammatically correct at some spots, but he was just he talked very country.
This man, somebody needs to check that man's computer history.
Yeah,
that somebody needs to check that man's house and storage and whatever he has, because that man's fucked up.
What happened after he got a spread of you?
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
That I don't know what other word to use.
Horrendous. Sickening.
But yeah.
Brandon said Tom finished, then got in front of the car, to which Laux responds, let's back up here for a second. First of all, you didn't say anything about him getting it up. Did he have a hard-on when he got back there, or what?
Oh my god. Yeah, he just wants all
nasty
the
details.
Yeah, nasty details. Mm-hmm. That's what he wants. This poor Brandon.
I know. And I literally just put that here. Poor Brandon said, I don't know, I didn't look.
Poor Brandon. Mm-hmm. None of these questions are valid to reporting this crime.
Yeah. And like listening to poor Brandon talk in this documentary, he just sounds so defeated. Like,
yeah, who wants to go and report this to police in the first place?
Yeah, that's how you're going to be treated.
Even like beforehand, you don't want to go do this stuff, and then this is how you're treated.
Right.
Very invasive, very belittling.
Yes.
Very not compassionate or anything.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care about what happened to Brandon. He just wants all the details.
Disgusting details.
And not to charge anyone, just because he wants to know.
Yeah, he wants them. He's not going to do fucking anything.
And he doesn't. We'll get to that. So Laux next asks, did he take a little time working it up or what? Did you work it up for him?
I'm going to throw up. I just ate dinner.
Yeah, like this is uncalled for. And then Brandon just responded no. Like, what kind of questioning is this?
This is not police questioning.
No, it's not. Then they show a clip of John saying, quote, she was very, very quiet. She didn't say nothing. She said ouch, but that was it, end quote.
I can't get my jaw off the floor. It's stuck there.
Yeah. It'll stay stuck there.
Oh my god.
Laux didn't bother arresting the two men. Instead, he told them Brandon reported a rape. He told them. Brandon told on them.
Wow. That's not a police officer.
No.
That's not. Okay.
Not a sheriff.
Not a sheriff. Yeah, no, he is not. This is... he got all his drinking buddies to vote him.
I don't know if he's still alive, but I hope not. And you died a horrible death.
I hope he got... and I hope he's in the afterlife getting everything he needed handed to him.
Yep. Laux declined to have them arrested because, quote, what kind of a person was she? The first few times we arrested her, she was putting herself off as a guy. And?
Yeah, what does that have to do with being raped?
That's why you can't arrest somebody for raping them?
Because in his eyes, he sees what Brandon did as a worse crime.
He does.
He does than what
happened to him.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Finally, on December 28th, 1993, Tom and John were questioned by deputies, but again, no arrests were made. The deputy said later that Laux advised against them making an arrest, even though the deputy believed there was enough evidence to arrest Tom Nissen and John Lauder.
Yeah.
But stupid Laux is jumping in again saying, don't arrest them. They did nothing wrong. Around 1 a.m. on December 31st, 1993, Tom Nissen and John Lauder drove to Lisa Lambert's house and broke in. They found Lambert in bed and demanded to know where Brandon was. Lambert refused to tell them. Nissen searched and found him hiding under a blanket at the foot of the bed. The men asked Lambert if there was anyone else in the house, and she replied that Philip Devine, who was a house guest visiting from out of town, was there. The men then shot Brandon in the stomach. Nissen later testified in court that he had noticed that Brandon was twitching and asked Lauder for a knife, with which Nissen stabbed Brandon in the chest to ensure that he was dead. Nissen later testified that he shot Lambert in the stomach, so also shot her. After leaving the room to find Devine, the house guest, and then returning with him, Nissen shot Lambert a second time. The two men then took Devine into the living room, sat him on the couch, and shot him twice.
Oh my God.
So that poor guy was just wrong place, wrong time. Just visiting Lisa Lambert, staying with her, and this is what happens. Nissen then returned to the bedroom where he shot Lambert a few more times.
Why?
So she was shot multiple times.
Why?
I don't know. The two men then left, threw their weapons and gloves onto a frozen river, and returned to Falls City. But yeah, the motive is never ever really stated. I'm assuming they just, because they knew it was her house.
Yeah.
That she lived there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were just planning to eliminate her as a witness. I don't know.
Wow.
And then they probably didn't know she had a house guest, so then they had to kill him.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, they killed 3 people. All because they're mad that Brandon is a female, at birth, biologically.
Yeah. Wow. This is... So to us, there's absolutely no fucking motivation here.
0, yes.
Yeah.
Just 2 dipshits.
Yeah.
Thinking they're better than him.
Yep. That literally, yeah.
Even though they're rapists.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
Yep. They were arrested later that afternoon, after which Nissen told deputies that he had witnessed John Lauder shoot 3 people to death in Humboldt, which was the town that Lambert lived in. So he's saying that John shot them.
Okay, yeah.
Even though he really played more of a part in it than John did.
Yeah.
Police went to the river where they retrieved the gloves and weapons, including the knife sheath marked with John Lauder's name, tying them to the crime.
Yeah. What a fucking idiot. Good.
Marvin Thomas Nissen and John Lauder were tried separately in Nebraska for their roles in the triple homicide. Nissen was tried first in 1995. He struck a plea bargain with prosecutors to testify against Lauder in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. He was convicted of 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree murder, receiving 3 consecutive life sentences. Utilizing Nissen's testimony, prosecutors convicted Lauder of 3 counts of first-degree murder in 1996, and he was sentenced to death. That has since been overturned because they no longer have the death penalty in Nebraska. In 1998, Brandon Teena's mother, Joanne Brandon, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Richardson County and Sheriff Charles Laux.
Good.
The suit argued that the sheriff failed to protect Brandon after he reported being brutally raped by Nissen and Lauder days before the murder. A lower court district judge initially ruled that Brandon was, quote, partly responsible for his own death because of his lifestyle and dressing as a man, awarding his mother a measly $17,360.
The fuck?
A judge said that.
Wow.
It was a lower court judge, but still.
Still.
You don't belong being a judge if you're going to blame the victim like that.
Yes. Fuck you.
How did you get your job?
Anyway.
On April 20th, 2001, the Nebraska Supreme Court issued a unanimous reversal. The court ruled that Sheriff Laux was completely negligent and explicitly acknowledged law enforcement's systemic mistreatment of a transgender victim.
Yep.
After further appeals, the state high court ultimately affirmed a total damage award of $98,223.20 for Joanne Brandon in 2002.
There's no price to put on that.
There's not.
That's better.
But better than $17,000. Yeah. I just am curious though, where's the 20 cents come from? You know what
I mean? 20 cents, yeah.
In 2007, Tom Nissen admitted under oath that he lied during the initial trials, claiming that he was actually the shooter and John Lauder was just an accomplice.
Wow.
So, I mean, at least he, did something right, I guess.
Yeah.
But it took like over 10 years
to
come forward with that. Between 2008 and 2009, Lauder used Nissen's recantation to appeal for a new trial, but the Nebraska Supreme Court rejected it, ruling that because both men were actively involved in the executions, the specific identity of who pulled the trigger was legally irrelevant.
That's right. I agree with that one. Wow, Nebraska. Bitch. Yeah, it did something right there.
Yeah. Further appeals regarding DNA testing and claims of intellectual disability were also systematically rejected.
Once you put Tom in a room, you put John in a room, and you put Brandon in a room. I'd rather hang out with Brandon.
Absolutely.
And what happens behind the doors between Tom and John and my two fists are...
Yep.
No,
that's also...
nobody's business.
That's also irrelevant.
Yeah, that's right.
Legally irrelevant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he was trying to say he had an intellectual disability to get out of his sentencing. Yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah.
As of recent state records, John Lauder remains on death row at the Tecumseh State Correctional Institution, and Marvin Nissen continues to serve his life sentence at the Lincoln Correctional Center. Brandon Teena is buried in Lincoln Memorial Cemetery in Lincoln, Nebraska. His headstone is inscribed with his dead name and the epitaph, daughter, sister, and friend. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm assuming that was his family's choosing.
Yeah, that would have been. I mean, they don't they wouldn't have expected him to die at that age. So it's probably not something that was maybe even discussed by that age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, that's what the headstone says.
That does make me sad.
Yeah. There are some lasting impacts from this case. Before 1993, transgender advocacy was often subsumed or erased within the broader gay and lesbian movement. Teena's murder became a seminal rallying flashpoint that galvanized a distinct, focused transgender civil rights movement. The public outrage surrounding the murders of Brandon Teena and Matthew Shepard 5 years later in 1998 heavily influenced the creation of the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which honors victims of anti-transgender violence globally. In the landmark case of Brandon versus County of Richardson, the Nebraska Supreme Court ruled that the sheriff was fully negligent. Supported by civil rights groups like Lambda Legal, this established that law enforcement must be held legally and financially accountable for failing to protect victims of hate crimes. The case fueled intense lobbying that eventually contributed to the expansion of state and federal hate crime legislation, such as the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Hate Crimes Prevention Act, to explicitly include gender identity.
Yep. I go over that a little bit in my...
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, last year we were covered the first two cases that were tried under that act.
Yeah.
Dime Doe. What was the other name? Was it Dime Doe?
Diamond?
Dime Doe and... Oh, I'm blanking on the other one's name.
I'm terrible with names.
Mercedes Williamson.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
That was the last name.
Yeah.
So listen to those. Those were a year ago.
Yes.
We'll link it below. And then you can also listen to... You just said... I'm blanking on the name. You just said it. The serial killer one.
Oh, the Hampton
Roads serial killer. The tragedy inspired the Emmy-nominated documentary The Brandon Teena Story, which I watched for this, and the highly acclaimed 1999 feature film Boys Don't Cry, which won Hilary Swank an Academy Award for her portrayal of Brandon Teena. Lana Tisdale sued the film's producers, though, for unauthorized use of her name and before the film's release. She claimed the film depicted her as, quote, lazy white trash, and a skanky snake, end quote. She's saying is how she was portrayed in the movie.
I gotta watch the movie now.
Tisdale also claimed that the film falsely portrayed that she continued the relationship with Teena after discovering he was transgender. She eventually settled her lawsuit against the movie's distributor for an undisclosed amount.
Oh, she got a penny.
Yeah. So. And in the documentary, I mean...
I was gonna ask you.
I got Trailer Park vibes. Like, she's, like, sitting on her bed smoking a cigarette while doing this
in the real interview of her. Yeah. Yes.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I did get Trailer Park vibes. But,
yeah, you know. I mean, the shoe fits.
Yeah. I mean, you know?
Somebody just sounds a little too happy.
Yeah. And offended.
Yeah.
I mean, she said that herself. Like, no one just said, hey, by the way, the description of this character is Skanky Snake. Like, she said that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I put it on my old front porch with a baby on my hip. Is what, like, like the vibe I'm getting here. I gotta watch it now.
Joanne Brandon publicly objected to the media referring to her child as he and Brandon. Following Hilary Swank's Oscar acceptance speech, Joanne Brandon took offense at Swank for thanking Brandon Teena and referring to him as a man. Now, this is Brandon's mom saying this.
Somebody...
And then she said, quote, that set me off. She should not stand up there and thank my child. I get tired of people taking credit for what they don't know, end quote.
What? I don't know.
However, in 2013, Joanne told a reporter that she accepted Brandon being referred to as transgender in the media. Although she was unhappy with how Boys Don't Cry portrayed the situation, she said about the film, quote, it gave them, referring to like gay and transgender advocates, a platform to voice their opinions, and I'm glad of that. There were a lot of people who didn't understand what it was Brandon was going through. We've come a long way, end quote. When asked how the murder affects her life today, Joanne replied, quote, I wonder about how my life would be different if she was still here with me. She would be such a joy to have around. She was always such a happy kid. I imagine her being a happy adult, end quote. Adding that she would accept Brandon living as a man. But yet she still refers to him as a she.
Yeah. Makes me sad.
Yeah. Lastly, the Vancouver-based pop-punk band Hotel Mira released the song Brandon off their debut 2014 album Circulation in memory of Brandon Teena.
Aww.
So, yeah, that was the horrible case of Brandon Teena.
Yeah, fuck you, Sheriff Locks.
Yeah, and
I hope you're rotting
John
in hell.
and Tom.
Yeah, and John and Tom.
Have fun in prison the rest of your lives.
Yeah, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
it makes me so mad.
I know.
Yeah. Makes me so mad.
Disgusting case.
It is disgusting.
All around.
Mm-hmm. It is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, we tell these cases because they still need to be told.
They do. And this was in the 90s. I don't know how many people are familiar with the name Brandon Teena.
Yeah, I never heard of that one.
So,
and that, like, what a time for that, that kind of crime and that kind of hate, It's a different time. Not that it's any fucking better nowadays, but we have a little more laws and things now.
We do, yeah. There is some more acceptance now, but
yeah.
I mean, it was a lot better a few years ago, though. I feel like now we're going backwards again.
Yeah, does feel like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fine when Obama was president.
Yeah, we were making some progress. Yeah, because I'll go over that act that was signed in by Obama.
Yep.
So tune in next week for that LGBTQ plus episode, and happy Pride Month.
Yes, happy Pride Month.
Do something gay.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you're going to any Pride festivals or what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm going to be away for the Lancaster one.
I know.
So,
I was thinking that.
I'm a little sad about that, but, I'll be celebrating in other ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and check us out on all of our other social medias.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. Hit the bell to be notified of future uploads, and keep lurking around for our next video. Bye!